In this video, we're going to be looking at arrays, which are part of multiplication. So let's have a look at what arrays are and how they help us in multiplication. Arrays are a set of objects lined up in rows and columns that show us how multiplication works. Arrays can tell us how much there is of something without the need for counting them out tediously. When I say rows and columns, this is what I mean. Here we have an array. Highlighted in this box is a row. We know it is a row because the dots highlighted are going from left to right, or you could say right to left. We say that they are horizontally arranged as they only go these two directions. Meanwhile, the dots are highlighted here are called columns. We would call them columns because they're going up to down and down to up. Since they're only going these two directions, we would say they are vertically arranged. And we would say that this is an array because it is made up of rows and columns. So let's count them out. We can see that there are 3 rows. We can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 columns. 3 rows and 5 columns. We could also say that this is 3 rows of 5, hence 3 times 5, which is 15. When I say 3 rows of 5, this is what I mean. Let's go back to looking at one of the rows. We can see that in this one row, there are 5 dots. When we see that there are 5 dots, we will automatically know that there will be 5 columns. And when looking at one column, we see that there are 3 dots. This automatically tells us that there will be 3 rows. So we can say that there are 3 rows of 5. See here, 1, 2, 3, which means that we're basically doing 3 times 5. This is because we can have one column here of 3 and we're timesing it by 5. Or you could also write it the other way. We have 5 columns and we're timesing it by 3 to get 15. So, using the outer dots, we can multiply these to find out how many dots there are overall. So let's have a look at another array and use this again. In this array, we can count out that there are 4 rows. Now there are 2 columns. There are 4 rows and 2 columns, which means there are 4 rows of 2, or 2 rows of 4, 2 columns of 4, which means 4 times 2, or 2 times 4, which is equal to 8. 4 rows of 2, we say this, because in one column there are 4 dots, we can see that this column appears twice. So we do 4 times 2, which is 8. So, if we have a look at these apples here, arranged in an array, if we're asked how many apples are there, we could use this method again. We can count that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 rows and 1, 2, 3 columns. There are 4 rows and 3 columns, which means there are 4 rows of 3, which means 4 times 3, which is equal to 12. There are 4 rows of 3 because we know from counting from the outer layer, we can see that there is 4, and we times this by 3. Or, the other way around, we can see from one row there are 3 apples, and we times this by 4. Either way, we get the end result, which is 12.